With the elections just weeks away, Gibraltar's NGOs are drawing up wish lists that they will put to the candidates. Two such organisations are the Gibraltar Ornithological and Natural History Society and the Environmental Safety Group. One look at the ESG's website tells you that they have campaigned on many issues. Chairperson Janet Howitt tells us now a little bit about pollution, energy and first, waste.
Clear that from the tons of litter and other items that are dumped daily on our green areas and underwater, and that there's a huge issue with waste and the way we handle it. So the Clean Up the World is as much as people rolling up their sleeves and helping to liberate these areas from rubbish. It's also trying to focus and make us take the necessary steps towards better management of our waste. And we'll talk about solutions in a minute, but I think it's clear that at the moment there is a big problem there. With regards to pollution, from traffic, from power generation, from bunkering, from the regional pollution, which is itself causing, public health crises, and that I think there are many problems there and have to be addressed and minimized because these are potentially disastrous for health. With regards to energy, we keep hearing about the need for countries everywhere to implement renewable energy systems. This obviously has to be done at a sort of nation level, but also at an individual and business level.
The ESG has often highlighted the need for change at every level. But let's start at the top. How good is current legislation in their opinion? Is it good enough?
It's clear that at the moment we are simply following European legislation, which is to comply to a certain percentage by 2012, but we think that this is clearly not enough. The impacts and threats that we face from the worst of global warming is telling everybody everywhere that we cannot simply do a little bit. We have to go further, and we would like to see Gibraltar go beyond and above legislation and do whatever we can, go for higher percentages to meet bolder targets and be environmentally responsible.
So, the ESG would like to see more progressive legislation. But what about enforcement of current legislation? Well, let's ask the GONHS, who are committed to research into and conservation of nature. I asked their General Secretary, John Cortes, what he thought of nature prevention laws and their enforcement.
We have among the most wide-ranging nature protection laws in Europe and have had for quite a number of years. But obviously these need to be enforced very strictly if they're going to have the desired effect. And there are areas in which there could be improvements on this. One of them is in relation, for example, to the illegal feeding of apes by visitors and so on, which actually encourages them to accost people, encourages them to bite people, and encourages them to go into town looking for people. So I know that it can get quite controversial, and the solution is either to criticize GONS or to kill the apes. But basically what we have to stop is the people feeding them illegally enriched food. So that is one aspect of enforcement that is necessary. And obviously we would hope that the authorities would insist that the law enforcement bodies should enforce things like that. There are also considerations to do with fishing. Even within the remit of the fishing agreement, recently there has been an upsurge of fishing in Gibraltar waters over and above what was agreed. So we have to look at the whole question of enforcing nature protection laws. I've given two examples, but there are many more.
Why aren't nature protection laws and environmental laws more generally better enforced? Well, it is often said that economic development is difficult to achieve in a sustainable manner, but the ESG and GONS believe that the pursuit of economic development, while important, should not prevent Gibraltar from improving its environmental conservation.
Well, yes, I mean, economic drivers are important, and in no way do we want to stop Gibraltar's economy developing. But obviously there are ways of balancing this out. When it comes to development, there are areas which can be developed at no threat to biodiversity and in ways that would not be a threat to biodiversity, and the important thing is that that development is concentrated there. When it comes to bunkering and the oil industry, there are obviously economic drivers, as you say, but that has to be balanced yet again with the needs not just of the natural environment but of the health of people. And therefore, precisely because these activities bring in money, therefore the people who make the money should be expected to take the necessary steps to prevent these things being a threat to people and to the environment. And therefore the very fact that they are important economic drivers brings upon them a responsibility to do something about it. So I'm not concerned about that, because it can happen if there is a will. I mean, all you have to do is look at a slight reduction of profits for a while until things are improved.